Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Eric here. Welcome back to the channel. Today, we are joined by the CEO, founder of Elevate Trading. And if you haven't guessed it, his name is Rob on the channel here today. So we have a bit of an intro. I just want people to know who Rob is. So without further ado, I'm going to let him introduce himself. Then we're going to go over what is Elevate Trading, and we're going to be talking about Astrabit bonds. But first and foremost, Rob, I'll let you introduce yourself.
Hey guys, first thanks for having me on your show, your YouTube. I know we chat a lot in the DMs and on the Astrabit channel. It's always a pleasure to chat with you. So a little about me, my background in the real world and Web 2 world, I guess you can say, is I am a degreed architect. So I have a background in architecture, and I currently work for an engineering design firm. So I do structural design work and all that stuff. And I've always dabbled in the trading world. I kind of got into trading back in the early 2010s. I got into penny stocks. This is long
Oh yeah,
before I
penny
even
stocks.
knew what crypto was. But I did hear about Bitcoin roughly when it was like $350, and Ethereum, I think at that time was like $35.
So
So
wait, did you buy some?
no, because I didn't know
Oh.
anything about it. I just like, okay, you can't find this on TD Ameritrade. I don't know what this is. And when you're in the traditional finance world and you're thinking about price, it's like, man, it's $350. There's no way I'm going to make a lot of money on this. And when you didn't know what, Bitcoin and what crypto was, you just kind of heard it in the passing. It's like, yeah.
Yeah,
So I think even then, a $5,000 investment and then cashing out, even at 20K or 70K, I mean, you're talking multi-millions of profit there. So
absolutely.
I passed on it and actually came back and got into crypto at the very top of 2017 at 20K.
Okay. Nice. Well, that's I mean, you've definitely been around longer than I have in crypto. I think I only started back in 2018. So I never had the opportunity there to see Bitcoin at those prices, or even Ethereum at those prices. But no, that's awesome. And so what if we kind of jump right into it, into what Elevate Trading is. So for those of you who are new to the channel and you're not too sure what Astrabit is, essentially Astrabit is kind of this whole platform where different strategists come on and they can list their bot strategies, and then people like myself, like yous, can go and actually purchase this bot, and this is going to do trading for you automated, so you don't have to do anything. You don't have to be sitting at your computer. You can just, put this on there and then you're good to go. So what Elevate Trading is, they're actually a strategist on Astrabit, and Rob is the founder of Elevate Trading. So maybe if you just want to give a quick background as to, how Elevate started and kind of what was the roadmap to Elevate Trading.
Well, when I first got into crypto, I didn't even know what Discord was either. So, I mean, you could probably say like I'm a boomer in those terms or whatever. So I was on TradeView, because that's where everybody charts, and they had
Yep.
like TradeView chat and groups or whatever on TradeView. And I was in there with a few guys that I had just met randomly on Twitter or whatever. So it wasn't any kind of group. It was just kind of us chatting and talking and discussing, and coming from the penny stock world, understanding how influencers work and seeing them on Twitter, big following accounts, shilling garbage and
Pretty much anything.
yeah, pretty much anything with promises of getting rich quick or whatever. It's like there is nobody that brings some legitimacy to this space, like the influencer space. There's nobody that really teaches people, the fundamentals behind trading, the psychology behind trading and portfolio management. It's just like, buy this and you'll 1000x your account in 2 months, and then you'll buy Lambos and all that stuff. So that's kind of how Elevate got started. So coming up in August will be 5 years that we've been a group, and
Okay.
in that time, that's kind of what we were. We were just a trade group. And we weren't just a trade group like, just signals like buy this and TP1, TP2 and all that crap,
Right.
because those are scams too. A lot of
Yeah.
those groups that do that with those outrageous targets that never hit. So we delved more into the education side, people how to chart, teaching people how to control their emotions and all of that stuff. Um, and so how we kind of got into the trading bot world with Astrabit. So as you mentioned, all Astrabit is really is a marketplace. So
Mhm.
it's a platform, it's a marketplace where different traders can develop into strategies, their own trade styles, and automate them. So what I've done as part of Elevate, and I think we started this in 2019, was I kind of did like a trade challenge. So part of this education and part of teaching people how to trade, I started with like a $500 account, just
Yeah.
a little scalp account, and kind of walked through the people in our Discord, what the trades that I do and how I manage those trades and how I manage my portfolio. And so they can also basically copy trade me and follow along and make money with me at the same time learning. So
Yeah.
that first year, I took that $500 account and turned it into 53,000 in like 4.5 months. So it was about a 10,000% return.
Wow.
So
Those are
and
some
then
pretty good numbers.
yeah, yeah, because uh, the majority of people in crypto have, they're not rich already, so they have
Right.
like these small accounts and these small balances. So it was a
Mhm.
great learning experience and showing people how you can take a small account into a big account.
Yeah.
Now, obviously not everybody had the same results because, if I posted a trade or something that I got into, but someone's on the other side of the world asleep or on vacation. So, everybody, it varied.
Mhm.
So we did it again in 20, I guess, during the lockdowns, or maybe that was 2022, maybe when we did that. I don't remember.
Okay.
But this time he's like, okay, so we did 500 to 50,000. Let's not start this trade challenge on a new year with a whole balance because we don't want to go all in. We
Right.
want to manage that portfolio, leave some funds on the side. So we started over with 5,000. And in about another 5.5 to 6 months, that 5,000 became 289,000 at its peak. And then I got real bad COVID sick and then ended up losing like 150,000 because I couldn't even open a laptop. So, but
So
it
wait,
was,
you turned 5,000 into $280,000 in about 5 months?
yes. And all of my personal trades, because I dedicated my own little copy trade channel in my
Right.
Discord. So all of my trades, all of the wins, all of the losses, everything was, out there in the open, fully transparent. I'd post $40,000 losses. I'd, post my $60,000 wins and all the, variations, all the big
Right.
losses, little losses, big wins, et cetera, et cetera. So
Yeah.
we kind of, and I was thinking, it's like there has to be a better way to do this, because with the difference in time zones and all that stuff, a
Mhm.
lot of people are missing a lot of the trades because they're not available to take them.
Yeah.
So then I got introduced to Astrabit, and I was like, this is great because now I can develop my trade style into a bot and
Mhm.
basically have people automatically just copy trade that way by running it on a bot. Um, so I didn't do a copy trade challenge last year because that's what we were doing, developing the bots, getting them out into the market and seeing how they do. And then we can make the necessary tweaks and adjustments depending on different market conditions.
Okay, wow, that's a pretty good background story of how Elevate came about because I wasn't actually entirely sure myself. So that's some pretty good information there. And so in terms of like the team at Elevate, obviously you being the founder of Elevate, how many more people do you work with? Like, is it in terms of developing these strategies, is it just your strategies or is it a combination of a few different people who have different ideas? Or like, how about does that work
Well,
inside of Elevate?
there's one other guy,
Okay.
a partner, I guess, who started Elevate with me. He was maybe the third or that we brought onto the team. So it's just me and him left because, you know, over time,
Right.
some of my past partners, you know, had kids, career
Yeah.
changes, and they just moved on from crypto or, you know, kind of went on their own or whatever. So he's more of an Elliott Wave scalper. So
Okay.
he's developed a scalp strategy, but he's currently trying to work on some tweaks and codes to fix it because it's only trading during New York Stock Exchange hours. Because
Right.
if you if you have experience in the TradeFi world, there's basically 2 windows in the day where there's the most volatility in the market. So
Yep.
he created a bot that was tuned to trade only within those 2 windows when there's the most volatility. So it works with crypto, but also it doesn't work with crypto because crypto 7.
Yeah.
He's
Exactly.
working on different coding strategies to tweak that to make it to where it can actually trade a lot more like a true scalp low time frame bot. So you are using currently the Horus and Novus bot. So first, I want
Yep.
to really highlight and point out timing is everything. So when Horus and Novus, and Horus was like heavily shilled, and it was like the king of running the bots last year. It was the top performer on the entire Astrabit platform. By the time that popularity really kind of started getting out and a lot of people started coming onto the platform to subscribe to Horus, that was after it was going on some serious runs.
Yeah.
It was doing great profit. So
And that's exactly when I got in.
yeah, yeah. So and that's the same that I see in crypto periods. Like when people join like paid groups or they join a bot or they join like meme coins, it's always after it, you know, a good run. So, and then after a good run, I mean, nothing just constantly just keeps performing and going up. So there's always going to be losses. So if you got in at the wrong time, then yeah, you probably started taking on some losses. But the important thing, especially with running a trading bot, or is the long-term data, the long-term goal behind these bots. So if we look at Horus here, so let me just slide this over here. So this was the spreadsheet that we had last year. Is this big enough? Do I need to zoom in a little bit there?
Yeah, you may need to zoom in a bit more.
Okay, so the 100% here.
Yeah,
So
that's
this
good.
was the month to month that Horus did last year, and I think March we may have taken it offline to do some maintenance, some little tweaks and whatnot. So overall, if you look down here, 437%, and this is at 1x leverage. So overall, Horus and over the whole year was a great year. So you probably joined in October, I think, and that happened to be a losing month.
Yeah. And an important fact here too is that this is on 1x leverage.
Yeah.
So obviously for those of you who don't necessarily understand leverage, if you're using leverage, if you're using 2x or whatever the case may be, you have to multiply those percentages by the leverage that you're using. So in my case, I'm using 3x leverage. So in October, for example, 12% negative for the month for 1x leverage. So if I'm using 3x, well, that's minus 36%. But on the flip side of things, if you know it makes 10% in November or 11% in November, well, if I were to use 3x, well, again, that's 33% gain. So I think that's something else that a lot of people don't necessarily understand, and it's something very key to highlight. But as you mentioned, and we see these trade logs, these are all accessible to the public, and we see that, you know, the long term of running a bot is definitely profitable here. So
yeah, and that is a big thing for both us at Elevate. As I mentioned with the copy trade challenges that we've done, everything was transparent. All trades were posted, all trades were logged. Same thing with Astrabit. They demand transparency of all of the strategists. So we have to keep logs, and these are pulled straight from Astrabit's back-end trade logs. So these aren't just made up numbers. So everything is out in the open. Everything is transparent, all of the wins and losses. And so our bots specifically are more along the lines of swing trade. So they'll hold positions longer, they'll hold drawdowns longer. So if you have stop losses and your stop loss may be too tight, well, the bot may hold that drawdown before it closes in profit, but you got stopped out, so you made yourself take a loss, et cetera, et cetera. However, fully recommend risk management settings, to protect yourself in whatever. So like here, this was almost a month-long hold from December of 21 to January, and it closed out a 38% trade. And it also varies and is very market driven. So some months are just going to be crap. So the first half of the month is when Horse made the most of its money, banging out profits, bad wins, bam, bam, bam. And then, one big loss there in May. And, there's a 40% win or whatever. So in the fall, and it typically happens almost every fall, it's a very choppy market. It's very slow. And you yourself, you were here. The whole market for weeks at a time would move within 3% ranges. And it would take weeks to move that 3%. And that's where we got chopped up. And that's where almost any bot is going to get chopped up, and even manual traders, because it's a very difficult market to trade in. So we had some smaller losses, which is great. We want to try to losses, but every now and then we're going to get bit and with some bigger losses, and even a completely demolishing December where we didn't win a single trade at all. But still, over the course of a whole year, finishing out 437%. Now, this is just what the bot's returns have done, not what your profits would be if you're compounded. So I got an example of that on this other spreadsheet for 2023, if we want to hop over to that. So Boreas this year is our top running bot right now. So I haven't updated the last 2 trades. I've been really slammed. But up to the first week of May, we were doing almost 80% profit with only one losing month in February. Only a 3.5, barely just shy of 4% loss for the whole month. So February was just one of those boring, choppy around months, but we've been absolutely just crushing it since.
And again, that's with 1x leverage, right?
Yes. So all of our trade logs and all of these returns and whatnot are always all posted at 1. So you have to apply your own leverage, but I kind of did that with this more simplified version of a spreadsheet here. So at 2x leverage, so this is your total PL. So even though the bot did 76%, because you're compounding your returns at 1x leverage, you would actually do 111%. So if you're running 3x leverage, which is what I run my bots on, I'm actually doing, or have done, 333% with compounded returns.
That's absolutely crazy. And that's exactly why I want to get on to Boreas.
just don't jinx it, because
knock on wood.
Because if you're in the Discord, you saw Stevie just got Boreas, and he has been known to be the master jinxer, and we took 2 losses back to back already. I was like, why?
Yeah.
So I made this here, and I know a lot of people, and this is the huge misconception that people get, especially with people with lower balance accounts, is when they join something like a trading bot, they expect it to be like the Matrix, just putting out a trade and printing profits every 32 seconds or whatever, never taking a loss, blah, blah, blah. And with the expectations of, joining with $300 to $500 and expecting to at least make their bot sub every month. When you have a low balance like that, and there's nothing wrong with that, because I can show you guys, I started our demo account last year that I do demonstrations and videos with or whatever, with $250. And I run in all 4 of our bots at 3x leverage. And here we are a year and a month later or so since we went live on the marketplace with them. Through all the losses, through these, choppy months that we're just getting hammered, through all the bad trades and all of that, that same demo account has still almost done 1,000% returns. So I'm still around $2,000 to $2,100 in that account now. That's our demo account.
Yep.
So if you are starting, the point is if you're starting with a low balance, you going to pretty much eat the bot subs for a year or 2 years or whatever until your portfolio really starts to game. So that's why I made this neat little spreadsheet, or not spreadsheet here, but this little factor here. So let's say year one, you started with $1,000. Now, Boreas has at 3X has already done 333%. So if we're averaging 300 to 500% on a conservative end, gains per year, well, we've almost hit that target already for running a 3X. So if you put $1,000 into Boreas at the January, and you're doing 500% returns, well, at the end of the year, that account is now $5,000, and you're paying $800 for that lot. Okay, so still $4,200. Okay, so year two rolls around, and we can change this. So let's say year two, you only do 300% profit. So still, your 5,000 is now 15,000. You're still paying another $800 for that bot. So now you're at $1,600 total payment in 2 years, but you've made $15,000 profit. Okay, third year, let's say 400% profit. Now you're up to 60. Let's say year four is just ungodly slow. You only do 100%. Oops, I'm sorry. Formula. The way this Excel formula is retarded. So 100%, you're basically just doubling your money, but for the formula's sake, we have to put 200%. So you doubled your money, and after year four, it's $120,000. And then still, again, we knock out year five, another 500%. Or let's say year five is a great year. Let's say it's the next bull run, 800% that year. So in 5 years, you've essentially turned $1,000 into almost $1 million. And you've paid less than $5,000 for those 5 years of running just that one bot. So, and this is with, the scenario of having a low balanced account. So this is, again, having to weather the storm of the bad months, the losses, the choppy months or whatever, and get to the big profit months, the big gains. So over time, over year, even with all the losses, you're getting down here to 400% profits a year or something. Something to that extent. So that's a big key thing that I want people to understand, especially if they, don't have $15,000 to start a bot with or whatever. But now, if you averaged 500% returns a year, every year for 5 years, you've turned that $1,000 into 3.2 million or 3.1 million.
That's absolutely insane.
That is insane. Now, because again, our demo account running 4 bots. So it's going to vary because, obviously Boreas is carrying it. Solstice has been having a pretty good year. Horus and Novus, because Bitcoin and Ethereum are a lot choppier, they're kind of dragging the overall average down right now. So, it's a balance. Right. But still over that year, 10,000%. So we can, or 1,000%, sorry. So 1,000%, and let's just say it does 1,000% every year.
Now, again, at that point, I won't have to work, or I don't think anybody will have to ever work again. So we're gonna be down in the south on a beach with a pina colada, and we're gonna be chilling.
I don't think we'll be down on the beach. I'm pretty sure we'll own the beach. Now, I don't want to get anybody's hopes up of any sort of guarantee 1,000% returns a year, because I mean, obviously, I don't have a magic 8 ball that can read the markets and know exactly what's going to happen. So that's why I was sticking on a conservative end, 300 to 500% a year returns, because I mean we're already doing 330% with 3x leverage. And
now, to be devil's advocate though, like I know you guys are at 330% with Boreas up to this date, but when fall comes around, and I know you've said that fall is in the best market, so it could technically still go down, right? So like 300% is awesome right now, but when it closes out the year, it could be at 200%, could be at 100%, or whatever the case may be.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Because, yeah, I mean, we don't control the market. We don't know how the market's going to shape up.
Yeah.
So we can have the bots tweaked to hit the markets when it's hot, and Boreas has been on it. So if we hit those slower months, we can scale back from a higher time frame trades to 1 hour time frame, and tweak the bot and then the settings to make it be able to trade on those slower time frames. And it may be slower. I mean, we may not be hitting, double-digit wins. Those slower months, if we can get out 5-10% total profit in the month, I mean, so be it. It's still a winning month. But when you're getting up here and your account is growing at, exponential rates like that, if you have a 10% month of a $40,000 account, that month alone, just that 10% month, you did 400% of your original starting $1,000 balance in this scenario. So even those little gains are exponentially more than what you started with. So it can add up. But then the flip side of that, if you got an 8%, 4% losing month, I mean, yeah, it can hurt too.
Yeah, exactly. And I know you had shown us the yearly results for last year for, I believe it was Horus. Can you just show us what your other bots did as well?
So Novus. So Novus was a killer last year. Did 823%, but we had, if you joined in that September, October timeframe, you got hammered, took on some nasty losses there.
And to point out too, because I've seen many people, whether on Twitter, on YouTube, or whatever the case may be, if you join in September and you're using 3x leverage and the month is a 33% loss using 3x leverage, your account has been blown up.
Yeah,
it's gone. So again, you may, if you're unsure and you want to test out these bots, maybe not use, super crazy high leverage. Try starting out with 1x leverage, maybe 2x leverage. And then if you feel more comfortable, you have a bigger balance, then, you could potentially move up to those higher leverages. But again, it's important to note that, you're looking at this, you're seeing the total amount of 823%. But again, really depends on when you've joined and what kind of leverage you're using.
Yeah. And I think, especially for new traders, because it's crypto, everybody's in this mindset, got to get as rich as you can, as quick as you can. But how many popular Twitter influencers have we seen posting $1 million losses or completely wiping their accounts out, multi-million-dollar accounts wiped out because of high leverage, trying to make as much as they can, and they just blow themselves up. So, I mean, if you're doing 400 to 500% on 1x, 2x leverage, that's good.
Yeah.
Because you're not even doing the work for it.
Exactly.
So you're out, playing, golfing, going on vacation, doing your regular work. I just looked at my 401k. Up to this point this year, it's done a total of 13%. So that means Boreas has done 600% more profit already than my 401k. And I
mean, 13% is still pretty good.
Yeah, 13% is great. I mean, Wall Street, I mean, hedge funds and investment accounts or whatever, that's an average return anywhere from 11 to 17% a year. So we're having a trading bot, and that we have control of our own money, because when you're plugging, all it is an API link from your exchange, whatever crypto exchange you're on, to the Astrabit platform to allow the bots to run. We don't see your money. We don't touch your money. It stays in your account. So you still have full control of your account. You can disable your bot when you want to. You can take money out. You can deposit money and treat it like a 401k, where you just take a little piece of your paycheck and add it to it every month. And that way the bot still compounds your returns that way. There's a lot of different ways that you can utilize your bot, and still have that full control over it. At the same time, we're out trading Wall Street 400 to 800%.
And that's a very good point, because I know a lot of people are into DeFi projects when it comes to trading bots. You know, they see a trading bot ETF that's coming up, and then they're like, oh, I'm just going to give, you know, $1,000 to that. They're going to manage my money for me. But here on Astrabit, and using any bots that are available on Astrabit, like Rob said, the money is in your centralized account. So, and they even just partnered up with Apex, which is a decentralized exchange where you can actually use those bots on that DEX. But again, you're in control of your money. You can stop the bot whenever you want. So if you want to cancel, you can cancel. If you want to take out money from your centralized exchange, you can. So that's why I really do like Astrabit, for that reason, being able to manage my money whenever I want to, and seeing these results too. So that was Novus 820%. And if we just quickly go back to the other ones.
So I hate the way that we originated this there. So 572%, and we had one rogue trade there in December.
Okay.
The month started off great. It was up like 20% or something, I don't remember. And then one rogue trade that we still don't have an answer for. It wasn't on the bots end. We don't know if it was on TradeView's end or something between the API signals. It was a terrible trade. But again, still closing out almost 600%. I mean, if we took that away, oh crap. Well, the formula
doesn't do it.
Yeah, the formula's somewhere else. But if we took out that trade, I mean, that could be, you know, another 700% or something win there.
Right.
So this is why we do fully encourage risk management settings. So Boreas last year, almost 400%, and we missed July because we were doing some updates and tweak to the coding then too. But the losing months were relatively small. Huge May right there, 151%. So a 3x leverage month there is 450% that month alone.
Wow.
And then December, also a losing month. December was really bad for the market all around.
Yep.
November and December, and then October, I mean, just a really terrible fall. And then, you know, this is where we are in 2023. Solstice doing 35%. Horus, a losing month to start off, or in February kind of bit us a little bit. And it's just been really slow for Novus and Horus, because Bitcoin and Ethereum are really slow. Most of the ranges we've seen are 3 to 5%. It's which makes for a choppy market and difficult to trade in. But our moneymaker ATM so far is Boreas. So please, sir, do not jinx it when you get your set up.
I'll do my best not to. All right, so I think what we can do to kind of wrap this up is just go over the results of each bot directly on Astrabit, and just emphasize the transparency that, you know, if you have an account on Astrabit, this is exactly what you're going to be seeing. You're going to be able to go onto your dashboard, see exactly where the strategies are entering, closing the position, and then what kind of profits or losses you are having. So I think, Rob, here you can show maybe each and every single one of the bots that you're running on your demo account, and then kind of go over the, you know, the charts and the profits that people would be seeing in their account.
Sure. Yeah. So this is our demo account that we had mentioned earlier that we started last year with $250. We're just shy of 2,000. It kind of fluctuated and peaked over there. So we're still probably somewhere around 950% over the last year. The current positions, we can ignore the AI because we're still in a beta test for that right now. So one of the neat things about Astrabit is, if you know, you can go into each individual bot, and you can go up here to this top right corner and go to trade history, and it shows you this neat chart or graph, so you can see how your bot has been performing over time. Now this feature only went live on the app back in like November. That's why we can't see any further back history here. And it's going to show, I think, roughly, I'm not sure if it takes into account your leverage or not, but it's a neat graph to show you how your bot has been performing over time. And you can also go here to view trades. So just as I showed you guys with like our spreadsheets here, where we we pull all of our trade data from, that is also actually logged here in the trade log or the trade data. So again, that's full transparency. So nobody thinks that we're just pulling numbers out of our butts or something and making stuff up to look good or something or whatever. So everything is fully logged, fully transparent and everything.
And if I could just jump in real quick here, Rob.
Yeah,
I know a bunch of different DeFi projects are saying, oh, well, we have these bots doing this, doing that. And then they're saying, here are the logs, or, we have logs, but we don't want to share them with you because you're going to see the strategy behind it. But again, we have full transparency on Astrabit, all the logs, all the trades. You can even go onto your own centralized exchange, see the logs there. So again, one of the reasons I personally like, and I know a lot of people like Astrabit for that specific reason as well. But carry on.
Yeah. So just as you said, I don't know much about those DeFi bots on other platforms or whatever. So our intellectual property stays safe. So when you look at like this chart, or you go to the trades or trade history log or whatever, it's only showing just as your exchange would. So it's just showing your trade history just like your exchange shows it. It's not going to show you any coding. It's not going to show you like any back-end stuff behind, the man behind the curtain or anything. So our intellectual property is safe, as well as yours, because again, we don't see your money. We don't see your IP secret keys, not IP secret keys, API. Yeah, API keys. So we don't see any of that. So what you see, we'll go to Boreas, so Boreas, same thing, very nice long chart. So again, I kind of messed up in March. I deleted the OG Boreas in place of the AI test, and then I realized I could have just put the AI on a sub account. So I reset this back up, which reset my chart history and my trade log. However, it's still logged in the history of Astrabit itself. So even Boreas, even when I set it back up, if I zoomed out on the chart, it's still showing me every single trade signal for the entire year. I mean, here we are back in October of last year. So it doesn't lose any of the signals. So you can even, for example, here, this looks, I don't know what this trade is here, but it looks like a good one. You can even hover your mouse over it and it pops up this little pop-up with the signal buy, and how many contracts or the date and time, and this blue dot move, which is a close. So that's another way that the trades are logged. So two ways, both directly on the chart and in the trade history here, if you go here to view trades. Now, another really neat thing is if you go to this performance and trades, just by clicking on that chart image. Let me go back and show you one more time, so in case I went too fast for everybody. So again, if I go right here to trade history, okay, so it's showing me, just that bot. Okay, view trades. Oh, no, where'd it go? There it is. So performance and trades. This is a new feature that Astrabit added. So now you can compare if you're running multiple strategies, whether if they're all from Elevate or you're kind of mixing from other strategists. So if you have one from Elevate, another one from Goblin, or another one from Rise, or somebody else, you can actually click this little button over here that says Add Compare, and it'll show you how your bots are performing even against each other. So we got Novus already up, so I can add in Solstice, and you can add in Boreas and Horus, and then just like if you go to TireRack.com and you're comparing the different tires, you can do the same with your Astrabit bots to see how the performance of the bots are stacking up to one another. So obviously Boreas is up here crushing the game, and that nice big consistent trend Novus now all of a sudden doesn't look as awesome as compared to Boreas, because Boreas is just killing the game. And then so yeah, I mean, you can compare all of your bots that you're running on the Astrabit platform. So another neat feature, so you can kind of track to see which bots are performing well for you, which ones haven't been performing well. So of course you can make the decision on if you want to, unsubscribe from one and pick up a different one, or whatnot. And again, that's just another level of transparency. So nobody's just making numbers up or whatever. So that's a very neat thing about Astrabit, about as far as transparency.
Yeah, and I've been running multiple bots. Again, I have 2 from Elevate and a couple more from other strategists. And I am also updating this on a weekly basis. So if you guys are interested in following exactly what my bots are doing, I oftentimes post it on Twitter. I post it on my Discord. So if you want to follow along, then definitely consider joining that. And just the last thing, I do actually have a promotional code. So if you use the link that's going to be in the description below, you can actually get 20% off your first month with Elevate. So if you want to test out one of these bots, why not sign up for this code? And of course, 20% off your first month. I do get a small kickback as a commission for that, obviously completely transparent. But I think we can kind of wrap this up here, Rob, if you have any final words that you wanted to say before we wrap this up.
Well, as one, as far as your promo code, I think I might be able to do you one better. Instead of 20% off 1 month, I think I can make you a code to where your viewers can get 20% off for 3 months to kind of help kickstart things, and and see if anybody is drawing some interest.
Okay.
But I think one of the biggest takeaways from this, of course, is going back to this little scenario that we did here about the long-term expectations of your realism of your goals. So again, if you are starting with a small balance, yes, your first year, maybe your 2 years, you'll have to eat the subscription fee, because just depending on the market performance and how the bots perform. But then as your portfolio grows and then it starts to really exponentially compound or whatever, then obviously you're more than making enough to cover any previous years that you've had to come out of pocket for, and even any concurrent years thereafter. Because I don't think anybody in the world is going to complain about turning $1,000 into 200,000 in 5 years and only pay 4,000 to do it.
Yeah. I know I'm definitely not going to complain, and I know most people wouldn't, but I'm sure some would.
Yeah, and that's why excuse me. And that's why I haven't really loaded up this demo account here, because going back to the earlier discussions about my trade challenge, taking a small amount into a bigger amount over time. So if we're doing almost 10x in a year, not doing anything, not doing any work, the bot's just doing it for me. If we come back and revisit this next year, and let's say this is now, almost another 10x, so close to 20 grand. That means in 2 years, we took $250 into almost 20 grand.
Right.
Or, whatever the case may be. It could be 15 grand, but still, those are phenomenal returns to take $200 into 15 grand in 2 years.
And doing absolutely nothing for it, but just paying a monthly subscription.
And yeah, exactly. Doing nothing, just going about my normal day, obviously rescuing cats and, from dumpsters or whatever. Oh, I don't know. Well, yeah, she's inside that little red hut there, little rescue kitty. So yeah, that's it. I think just the biggest thing is patience. Understanding that your bots are going to take losses. They're not the Matrix. Okay. They're not, some kind of magic thing or whatever. They're just algorithms that trade the market on your behalf 24/7 for you. They do all the work. You just go, live your life or whatever. Running a trading bot or utilizing trading bots really takes the emotions out of you from trading, and it's just trading strictly off of algorithms and strategies. So it's a load off of you. So losses do happen. Slow months are going to happen. Losing months are going to happen. Big wins are going to happen. And even the occasional big losses, as we, pointed out here, there's a couple here and there, but most of the time we, would try to keep the coding strictly to smaller losses to, minimize any risks.
Yeah, I mean, well said. I couldn't have said it better myself. So with that, I think we can wrap it up. I will be leaving all the links to all these spreadsheets. They're all publicly available, so I'll leave all of that in the description below. I'm going to be leaving links to the Astrabit website, as well as their Discord, the Elevate Discord, as well as their website. So everything's going to be down there if you want to check it out, or if you have any questions, let me know, let Rob know. I know he's super active in his Discord as well as the Astrabit Discord. So we're always available to answer any questions. But with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know what you think down below in the comments below, and I'll catch you guys in my next video. Peace.